Ladies and gents, players and pimps, it's D-Rax, man. So I got evicted. What happened and what's next? So I feel like when it comes to making a video like this, first and foremost, it's kind of hard to make a video like this because just leading up from my last video, I was kind of like stagnant. I was hesitant. I was kind of procrastinating. I was doubting myself. I was like, yo, D-Rax, are you sure you want to post this video? Are you sure you want to talk about this topic? Are you sure you want to delve into this? What do you think your family is going to say? Like, what do you think they're going to think? What about your friends? What about people that you used to go to school with? People that known you in the past? Like, what are they going to say? What are they going to laugh at me? Like, all of these thoughts, you know what I'm saying, were floating around my mind when it came to producing this video. And I still wanted to produce it anyway because it's a part of my story. It's my truth. I'm telling the truth. And I think people resonate with the truth. A wise man once said, when you hear the truth, you'll know it. And I feel like telling the truth, being real, who you are, being genuine, being original, not faking the funk, not exaggerating, not telling the story, not lying, I think that's admirable. So I got evicted. What happened and what's next? So let's start with how I found out I was getting evicted, right? So my leasing agent or whatever, however you call them, emailed me and basically wanted to meet in the office the first week of September. And I had already known what we were going to talk about because at the time of them sending me the email, us being on the phone, us being in conversation, the topic of the conversation was failure to pay rent. And at the time of the first week of September, I think I was close to like almost 3 months late on my rent. And I know that's probably like, people gonna hear that and be like, yo, D-Rax, I thought your name was D-Rax. What you mean you late on your rent? That don't make sense. First and foremost, my name is D-Rax. But that doesn't necessarily mean that because my name is D-Rax that I'm not gonna go through a struggle or a time of tribulation and challenges. You know what I'm saying? To bubble, you gotta struggle. So anyways, I meet with them in the office the first week of September. I'm talking to the assistant community manager. It's another leasing person with her. And, they're basically going over my rental history with them over the couple years that I had stayed in that apartment complex. For those of you who don't know, I'm from Akron, Ohio. I moved to Maryland right when the pandemic started, like May 2020. So I've been in another state for almost close to 5 years almost. So with that being said, I was living in Silver Spring, Maryland, a very diverse cultural area, very traditional, a lot of different religions, a lot of different ethnicities, highly diverse. I'm already out of my comfort zone. We're talking about my rental history, my on-time payments. I was doing really good, but over the summertime, this summer that just passed, I fell behind. tragically. And it wasn't like I meant to fall behind. It's just that life was kind of like throwing haymakers at me. You know what I'm saying? Just non-stop blows. Like, if y'all know what I'm talking about, when life started hitting you, you know what I mean. So they wanted to know why I was late. And to be honest, the reason why I was late is my fault. I take full responsibility for that. My hours at work were reduced. They were reduced a little bit, you know what I'm saying, because we were in our slow period at work. But I don't even want to blame it on my job, because it's not my job's fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, the hours that they hand out, I have to, you know, I take as many as I can get. Not only did my hours get reduced a little bit at work, but, you know, delivery work such as DoorDash, Uber Eats, Instacart, stuff like that. It was probably one of the worst summers I've ever had working for those platforms, for whatever reason. Like it was terrible. But I don't want to blame it on DoorDash or Instacart or nothing like that, because at the end of the day, it's my fault. So we're talking, I'm talking to them in the office. They want to know why I'm late. I told them, you know, my hours kind of got reduced. You know, the orders have been slowing up for my delivery work, stuff like that. I also have other bills and responsibilities that I'm taking care of, etc., etc., etc. So the assistant community manager, she kind of felt for me. So she had kind of given me a way out to get out of this impending eviction, right? Like, they wanted us out. So she was like, if you can come up with a letter from your employer stating that your hours have been reduced, we won't formally evict you, but you're still gonna have to find a place to live because you're too far behind to catch up. That was the first week of September, which was last month. So I had 3 weeks basically to find a place to live. And for those of you who don't know, the housing market is like crazy. Not just the housing market, but rent, leasing, something, like, it's just all crazy right now. Everything is like ridiculously high. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? But I had 3 weeks to find somewhere to stay at. So during those 3 weeks, the assistant community manager gave me a few tasks to complete, since I was getting informally evicted. It wasn't a formal eviction, it was an informal eviction, so it's not going to show up on my rental history. Praises to the Most High. God, thank you for that. I had to get a letter from my employer stating that my hours have been reduced at work. And I also had to pay my utility bill, the water bill, which was overdue. I was late on that. And that was kind of a chunky bill, a hefty bill itself. So I got the letter took care of. I kind of procrastinated on it a little bit, but I got that took care of. I paid my water bill that was left over, that was due. I knocked that out. And then the next step was trying to find a place to stay. And not only did I have to come up with first month's rent, I also had to come up with the security deposit, which was basically another rent payment. So I had to come up with 2 rent payments in 3 weeks to find somewhere to live. And right now at the time my pockets was tapped. From my car insurance to the car payment to the phone bill to the internet bill, like it was my pockets was screaming help. And I was stressed. I was under a lot of stress. I was under a lot of pressure because I'm like, yo, where am I about to get this money at? You know, like where? There's probably going to be some family members or friends that see this and be like, yo, D-Rex, you could have just hit my phone. I could have, but that's not your responsibility though. You know what I'm saying? Your responsibility isn't to bail me out of a situation. You know, I'm a young man. I made certain decisions that put me where I'm at today, and I got to be responsible for those decisions and the repercussions that come with making those decisions. So I'm not really looking at, let me go call somebody up real quick to bail me out of a situation. No, let's have faith. Let's put the work in. I can put the work in. Let's pick up as many hours as we can at work. Let's do as many orders as we can when we not at work. My store manager was giving me shifts. I was picking up shifts. I was able to get some money. I ended up having to sell my camera. I wanted to sell that for $600, but you know, I was pressed for time, so I got lowballed a little bit. I sold it for like $350. I'm still kind of upset about that because I felt like the camera was worth more, but I kind of just had to do what I had to do. You know what I'm saying? So, trying to get this camera together. So, I ended up finding a place in Baltimore. It's like right outside Baltimore, downtown Baltimore, right outside downtown Baltimore. And thankfully enough, I had found a spot where they were running a special, free first month's rent. So all I had to do was come up with the security deposit, which was basically the first month's rent. So I would just like to thank God for allowing me to find something, because I think mentally I was at the place where I was like, you know what, if I gotta sleep in my car, then that's just what I'm gonna have to do. And I know that's a little bit wild to think about, to be in that type of position, but I signed up for it. You know, I signed up for it. This is me following my dream. This is me, you know, chasing my dream. I want to be a content creator. I want to make content. I want to make videos. I want to do gaming for a living. So it's kind of like that movie that Will Smith played in The Pursuit of Happiness. Like that video is a real representation of some of the things that you might go through when it comes to trying to make a pathway or pursuit to happiness or your dreams or whatever you're trying to aim at or your purpose. Like during that video, Will Smith lost everything. His spouse left him. He lost his job. I think he was selling something with medical equipment that burned up. You know, he was sleeping at a shelter. He went through all of these hardships, trials and tribulations, challenges, never gave up, persevered, just to come out in the end on top. But it took almost everything out of him to get there. And I feel like that's what I'm going through. I feel like I'm Will Smith in my movie, in my world, in my life. Like, just all of the things that I've been going through. Even before the pandemic, things that I was going through that y'all don't even know about. Like, just trying to aim at something that nobody in my family has ever done. You know, that's hard to do. It's hard to break generational curses. It's hard to go against the grain and be different and still come out victorious with all of the doubt, all of the pessimistic energy, all of the challenges or tribulations that's holding you back from you achieving that accomplishment. It's hard. It's not easy. And I felt like I had to make this video, not necessarily for my audience, but just to document my story, my truth, to be able to be in a better position in the future, come back on my YouTube channel and be like, damn, I really went through that. Now look at where I'm at. Look how God blessed me. Look how God bossed me up. But look what I had to go through though. And there's also people who may be going through the same thing that I'm going through, that maybe have gotten evicted before, or maybe they are facing eviction, or maybe they are facing, you know, getting their car repossessed, or maybe they did just lose a job, or, you know, whatever life throws at you. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the times we think that, oh, I'm the only one going through this. That's a lie. Like, some of the most successful people then got evicted. Some of the most successful people then got their car repossessed. Some of the most successful people then lost everything multiple times. But it was just the sheer guts, determination, willpower, balls to keep going no matter what. And that's admirable to me. So, you know, I was thankfully able to find a place to stay. And I wasn't on the street or sleeping in my car, because it looked like that's what it was about to be. But I was like, you know what? It's a real chance that, I'd hate to say it, but I might be sleeping in my car for real. And I don't know how my content is gonna go. I was literally prepared to, like, you know what, maybe I might have to go open up a gym membership, take showers at Planet Fitness. Like, that's what it was looking like for me. Cause I'm like, yo, it's no way in 3 weeks I'm about to come up with first month's rent, plus the security deposit, plus I got all these other bills and stuff. Like, just, you know, it's like, it looked like an impossible situation to me. But yeah, once again, D-Racks have a little bit more faith. I was able to secure a spot so that I wasn't out on the street or, you know, having to sleep in my vehicle. And I'm thankful for that. God, thank you for providing me with a place to stay. I couldn't have done it without you. I still can't do it without you. So that's what happened. That's what led up to the eviction. That's what happened before the eviction. You know, it was never in my plan to get evicted. Like, that's not in my plan. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get evicted, right? Then I'm gonna do it. No. You know what I'm saying? It's like time and time again, I'm reminded that it's like, sometimes the plans that I have for myself, God has something totally else in mind, in store for D-Racks. Whether I like that or I'm comfortable with that or not, it's like, it don't really matter to him. It's like, okay, yeah, my plan is from point A to point B, but God's plan might be point A, and then you got to go to point B, and then you got to go to point B, point 5, and then, you know, it's crazy, and it doesn't make sense, and it's chaotic, and it's hectic, and it's a lot of confusion behind how God works. But God works in mysterious ways. So, like, what's next for the channel, right? Like, what's next? Because I haven't really been able to make gaming content like I've been wanting to, because I've just had so many things. I've been having so many things pop up, stopping me. And I'm trying to keep a schedule so that I can remain consistent for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been having a lot of people ask me, like, yo, D-Rex, when the next video? Yo, Rex, when is you getting a console? Did you get your PC fixed? When you coming back to play Call of Duty? XYZ. Like, I keep getting all these questions, and I gotta have answers for these people. They want to know where D-Rex at, like what D-Rex doing, what's going on. So I'm just letting y'all know what's been going on with me. You know, last month I got evicted. Thankfully, I was able to find another spot just in time to where I wasn't out on the street or I was sleeping in my car. I also had a moment of reflection. I think when something happened like that, a moment of reflection for me was like, you know, well, maybe if I would have finished school and just completed that engineering degree, I wouldn't have had to go through this. Like, maybe if I would have just never dropped out, or if I would have just got a really good job, but the thing about that type of thinking is faulty. Because there's people who do have good jobs. There's people who do have degrees going off the edge of their business card. There are people who are in really good positions that still get evicted or still get a car repossessed, or, you know, just life happens to them regardless. So I can't even be too mad or even stay in that type of thinking like it's faulty. There's no amount of schooling that would have prepared me for what life has to throw at me. So I know it's gonna be some people out there, well, you still should have. Listen, it's okay. I think the more immature version of me would have been upset at those people, but I'm not. I'm not upset at those people. You know what I'm saying? I try to live a life of equilibrium. So I see both sides. I see why somebody would say, you know, you probably should have finished the degree. You might not have went through that. But there's also a side where it didn't really matter what degree you had. If God had that in plan and in store for you, it didn't matter. You was going to go through that regardless. So there's that side too. So I just want you to know that I'm okay. I have a place to stay. I moved from Silver Spring, Maryland to Baltimore, Maryland. I'm blessed that I'm able to see different things. You know, I'm coming from Akron, Ohio. We die young in Akron, Ohio. Like, we die young, or we go to jail, or by the grace of God, we get a good job, we finish school, and we make it out. You know what I'm saying? Now, I didn't finish school, but God had enough mercy on me to at least let me get out of Akron, Ohio, and escape the crab in a bucket mentality that has plagued Akron, Ohio. So I'm thankful for that. What's next for the YouTube channel? I'm already thinking about my next video. It's not gonna be as heavy as the last two videos. Like the last video I made with my mother, that was a heavy video. This video, you know, getting evicted, what's happened, what's next, this was kind of a heavy video. It's been a lot of heavy energy for me. And it's not like that on purpose. It's just, this is my truth. This is real life. I'm not making this shit up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really got evicted, and it was really my fault. It wasn't my employer's fault. It wasn't DoorDash's fault. It wasn't Instacart. It was D-Rex's fault. I'm a young man. I take responsibility for it. Blame me. It's my fault. I've been uploading the full moons and the new moons. That's my upload schedule. I wanted to do it first before I said it, instead of saying it and then doing it. So if you haven't been paying attention, I've been uploading on every full moon and every new moon. This is a full moon, so it's a great time to release. So I'm glad I released this experience, because there's a lot of people out there that's going through a hard time right now that might look at this video and be like, damn, I'm not the only one. So the next video from D-Rax you can expect will be on a new moon. I'm not quite sure when that is, but I already have an idea of what I want to do. So it'll definitely be on a lighter note. I don't want to get too much into it. I don't want to spoil it. But, you know, I got evicted. What happened? What's next? Thank you for staying down with me. You know, to bubble, you got to go through a struggle. And I'm thankful that God is allowing me to tell my truth, to tell my story, to not be ashamed about it, to not be embarrassed about it. It's not embarrassing to go through a hard time. We all do. I think it takes guts to be able to talk about it and share it with the world for the right reasons and the right intentions. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's D-Rax. Catch me on a new moon. I love y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all next time, man. I'm out. Peace.